Well, hello, I'm KiteCraft, and welcome to a random build. So what is a random build? We all do this. You know, I was sitting there, it was about an hour ago, and I'm thinking, I was doing some work, and I'm thinking, okay, so I've got this tablet, and I wanted to act as a camera. There's a camera on the back of this. This is just an NVIDIA Shield tablet. And I don't have a tripod. I've already got this thing on a tripod, and it also has my other tablet mounted on it so I can use it as a camera. I have a small tripod right here. This is where I put my phone in. This is a 3D printed tripod holder that you can find it on Thingiverse. It's actually pretty cool. Uses a GoPro mount, and this is a 3D printed GoPro mount, style mount, I should say. You can find this one on my own KiteCraft on Thingiverse. But I need something else to hold this. But what's really special is I want this to be somewhat over top of my work table. So I was looking around and I realized, hey, I have a bunch of sticks and a 3D printer and some other parts. I think I can probably build something. So I'm going to build something, and that's what a random build is. You get an idea and you realize I've got everything I need to just sit down and build it. You know, you put a few minutes of thought into it, and we're going to do that. So I went into my bucket. I have a couple of buckets. My buckets hold all my sticks. They can be wooden sticks or carbon fiber sticks, or they could be fiberglass sticks. There are just a lot of sticks in there. And I realized, okay, I've got all of these half-inch offcuts from, I think I was building another project, and I was left with these. And I'm pretty sure I can maybe come up with something along the lines of using this. He also has a larger one of these, so I'm going to print a larger one of these and do one of these, and I'm going to use these sticks and make some sort of a tripod. So what I actually have to build is some way to take 3 sticks and put them together into a tripod mount, and then have something to cap it off and another arm over top. Fair enough, let's do that. Now, I think the video you're looking at me is kind of crappy. Yes, it is. It's a crappy webcam. But, you know, that's why I have a Patreon account. You can go to kitecraft@patreon.com. And as soon as I hit about $75, I can buy myself a decent webcam. I do have a tablet, and I'm going to be using this tablet, but you'll notice there is a weird delay. No, that's the wrong, wrong mouse. Anyways, they're running as an IP camera, so when I'm talking, that video stream is about half a second or so behind, and it just messes with your brain. But anyways, that's Patreon. If you were to give me a couple of bucks or whatnot, it'll help me. Anyways, so let's see what we're doing here. So I got my sticks. Let's undo my sticks here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some sticks. Let's see here. I got 3 sticks that seem to all be exactly the same length. And that's just perfect. I love it when things just are made easy. I don't care about the holes or anything like that. So what I need to do is that going to be a good height. And then there's going to be some sort of a stick coming across here. And then I can, yeah. Okay, I have an idea. So what we'll do is all I need to do, oh, you know what? I do have a requirement. I just thought of something new. I'm actually going to be stacking this for extra height. I'll be using some of my boxes. I just thought of this. This is cool. See, this is why it's called a random build, because you get ideas as you're going. Okay. So this is just one of my boxes. These are ridiculously cheap, and you buy these in bulk, and I've had a bunch of these. But you can stack these up. I got ones with these are just a bunch of wall warts and power supplies. Oh, pardon me, it's a little bit dusty apparently. So I need to make sure that my tripod is actually going to fit inside here. And the other thing I was thinking of, right, so I gotta make sure that my tripod is no bigger than that at this base. I also want to have a weight. I have different weights that I can use. Sorry, I gotta make sure I'm sitting down instead of the camera. This is also my first live stream, so welcome. That reminds me, I gotta turn on the chat and see if there's anybody actually chatting. I doubt it. Pardon me, just doing this for the first time. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna make sure that I can stack all of these and have this in there. So that'll actually give me a really good height. And I know it's a good height because you can't even actually see it on the screen. And then, off of the top, yeah, you know what, let's take this. Yeah. So I want to make sure that the bases of these will fit within that rectangle. And then I'll have some sort of a tripod-y thing up there. So I just need to make this bit right here. And that's not even a very big angle. I'm sorry, that's not a dust. Part of impromptu random builds is you got to deal with dust, apparently. So yeah, I've got Fusion 360 fired up, so we're going to step over there and we're going to have a look at what I got to do to build that. And then coming off of the top, we're going to want one more stick. What's the best way to do that? If I do it that way. So I'm going to have a foot attached to this that comes in that I can put a weight on. That way it won't tip over. And this has to be an arm that kind of comes, well, maybe it'll be a hinged arm, so it'll be a two-piece. If it is, I already have a solution for that. Yeah, okay. So let's just do that, and then we'll see what develops, and then we'll do the hinge part. So, first of all, I'm going to take a few measurements. So I got my little micrometer here, I got my notepad and no paper. These things are, turn that on, zero it out. So that's a 12.6, yeah, 12.6. 12 point-ish. So I'm going to call that 12.7 because they're all in there. So, stick diameter is, what did I say? Go on. What did I say? Yell it back, children. So I'm going to call it 12.7. Okay, now what I need is I need to take another measurement. So I'll get my flexible measuring devices. So the box that I want to put this in. Now the reason why I need this camera it's just so dusty I had to have a drink. Part of knowing or learning how to live stream is all of this. So the reason why I actually want to build this tripod and have this camera sticking down is so that you can see what I'm doing. Because right now it's kind of bright here and I don't really have some good angles with the cameras and whatnot, and you're way over there, you can't even see what I'm writing. Plus when I go gaming tomorrow with mist, I want to have a good gaming camera angle over my notes, because playing Myst requires a lot of note taking. All right, so what is my box size here? We'll call that 30. We'll call that, what, 35. See, that was easy. You gotta love these. I love these flexible rulers. Buy these at Fabricland or whatever. They're just way better than using a steel ruler or a. You know, these have a purpose, no doubt about it. But when I'm hobbying, no, I'll always be using these in any time I'm at the table doing any type of work. I have shorter ones, longer ones that I've taped to boards for bridle boards, but these flexible rulers are the best. Okay, so I've got my stick diameters. I've got the maximum outside diameters, or size of that. That's good. What else do I need to know? I need to know some lengths of this stuff. There's these three. All right, how long are they? That's another good number to figure out. Nope, this side. We're gonna call these, can you see what's going on there? We're gonna call that 64.4. What's a good number? It's a nice round number. 64.4. Yep, that's what it is, 64. 64 millimeter stick length. Okay, so that's another good number. Diameter is 12.7, length is 64. I know those angles, so I'm going to be able to figure out where the apex is and what the angle of that's going to be easily enough. Yeah, see, I'm already thinking about how to do that on Fusion 360. Fusion 360 offers you some really interesting ways to do this, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm no expert in any of this. I am a random builder, as the name the stream implies. My name is Kitecraft. You know, yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time. Everybody comes up with their own ways. I'm self-taught for a lot of things, especially when it comes to the CAD design that we're going to see coming up. I've watched videos all over YouTube. I've experimented. I've tried my own thing. I don't purport to be any type of an expert. If you're going to watch me and take some advice, you know, it's inspiration. What I am here to try and do is to help those people that are from a novice and into the intermediate steps, where you're kind of settling down. How do I define how that works? It's like this. When you're the novice, you're really hyper and interested in what's going on, and you're kind of all over the place, and you're learning and you're soaking it all in, and you're doing a lot of fun. But when you start kind of realizing that, hey, okay, I actually need to buy some or build some or whatever, but I need some tools. That's when you start realizing that you're getting into more the intermediate class of a hobbyist. This is how I think of things. So I want more tools. I want more stuff hand. I want more specialized equipment to be able to deal with what I'm trying to build in my own hobby, whether that's microelectronics you may want to look at a microscope, or sorry, an oscilloscope, or if you're dealing with writing code, you might be looking at an investment in, say, Visual Micro. And there's other expenses like sewing machines if you're going to be making kites, but there's a lot of different ways to do that. So one of the ways that we're looking at building our own tools is with a 3D printer. So that's what I'm talking about, is with the intermediate. And anyways, I was getting off track. I really did. What was I going with that? I can see what I'm talking about. I should turn that up and listen. Anyways, I think I've got the measurements I needed. Oh, and I've got this, but I don't need that yet. No, I'm good. All I got to do now is to head over to the computer, to Fusion 360, and we'll look at what's going on. Now, to do that, I'm going to have to do something really weird. So I know you all can hear me, and this is not going to match up very well. So this is kind of what I was saying. I know the video is really awesome now, but I don't think my words and the sound coming across is quite matching up with that video stream, which is really too bad. So that's what I mean. If you kind of want to head over to Patreon and kick me a few bucks, I'll use that, or maybe use it to pay rent. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I'm going to have to mute you for a second while I move the camera over there. All right. Hi, how are you? Okay, I'm back. Nice to see you. So that was interesting, wasn't it? Oh, pardon me. Okay, we're going to be switching to Fusion 360 in a minute. I'm just going to get my notes. Yeah, that usually happens too. Okay, so sorry about the racket. I just have to make sure that I moved all my the tools that I want to use over here to within easy access of my desk. You know how it goes. Okay, for the next steps, I'm going to put on a headset. And there we go. We should be into Fusion 360 now. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Oh, you know what? I've already made another mistake. I'm sorry. 2 seconds. You know what? Good enough. Okay, so we're going to be kicking off in the Fusion 360 in just another moment. I did actually need to do one more thing over here. How are we doing with the chat? Yeah, perfect. Good. Hi. How are you? Okay, so I've got Fusion 360 open. What I need to do is I need to build some sort of thing that's going to fit on top of there. I don't know what it's going to look like. I really don't know what it's going to look like. So that's why my hobby room is set up the way it is. Tools are always within really easy access, but I gotta remember if I'm going to be doing this live streaming stuff, I might have to make them even easier access here, or change a few things. I hope my volume is not killing you. I hope all is well. Let me maybe move it away a little bit. Thank you very much. Fusion 360. So first thing I need to do is I got to save this. We're going to call this. You can't actually see what I'm saving. Save it in my tripod. I'm going to call it tripod. Tripod 1. Tripod 1. Man, I don't know how those live streamers do this without drinking or making any noise like that. So I need, I don't know, I need a bass. So let's throw up a bass here. make a component. Always make a component. Whenever you're starting off something new in Fusion 360, before you do anything, you got to make sure I have a component. So I'm going to call this component, what am I going to call this? The middle, no, the base. Yeah, call it the base. Why not? Seems like a good name. Let's put a big old circle in here. So why did I just do that? I just put a plane in there. You're probably thinking I was sure we were going to put a sketch in there. I actually like to put an offset plane wherever I start my first sketch. You'll see people, they pop in, I'm going to put a sketch in, they drop it right on there, and off they go and running. And then, you know, especially if you're building a much more complicated thing, you're going to come up to a point where you realize, oh, you know what, I kind of want to move this whole offset or the beginning point of this a little bit. And you've realized that, well, I can't move that initial sketch. And it's like, uh-oh. So just do that. Do an offset plane on your right on your X plane or Z plane or whatever you want to do as your face up, and then put your sketch on there and just go from there. See, when you come back later on, you're going to have this down here at the bottom. If you can see that plane, I can go ahead and edit it, and I can actually just move this wherever I want later on. So even though I've done all of this work on this whole component and I've moved it around, I can just do that, and it can really make a lot of things easier later in life. So let's just go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a sketch on there. And I did it in the wrong spot. Okay, now we got some bread and butter going on here. I'm going to turn off my grid. Okay, so I've got 3 of these sticks. They're all going to come together at a little bit of an angle. Oh, you know what? That's what I need to do. I should offset some numbers here. I'm going to create. I've got this sketch on this plane. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. How do I actually want to go about knowing what those angles are without doing a bunch of math? Well, I'm just going to make these sticks. Okay, you know what? I'm going to back up a minute here. So I got this plane. I'm going to go back to here, tripod 1. And I'm going to offset this plane. Actually, nope. I'm going to do this instead. I really want to start this. Yeah. So many options about starting a new project, and where do you want your initial starting point to be, and how are you going to go about it? Just so many options. So, you know what? If I have this at even any type of an angle, it's going to be so let's make a circle that is about 5 centimeters in diameter. Let's just start with a circle that's 5 centimeters in diameter. Yeah, okay. That's an idea. I'm going to put a 5 centimeters. Did I say 5 centimeters? Did I want 5 centimeters? Are we sure we're going to do 5 centimeters? If I got this on there, 2.5 centimeters. You know what? Let's go 6 centimeters. Let's go 7 centimeters and just be safe. We can always make it different later on. So I've got that, and now I'm just gonna, you know, I've got this. I'm gonna just extrude this. I am going to make it. I'm actually going to make it quite thick. I'm going to go about 6 millimeters thick. No. That's not right. I think I'm just a little nervous about what I'm doing here. Yeah, that's better. 70 millimeters. That's 7 centimeters. Yeah. So that's better, isn't it? Okay. And let's make it about 6 millimeters thick. The other thing about a random build is there's a bit of a time limit. You kind of want to keep this down to within a couple of hours. So by the end of this, what I really want to do is, my goal is to just to have everything ready to go on the printer. I'm going to have the center base and a couple of feet, and I'm just going to be able to prop these on the printer. They'll turn out to be probably a few hours each, or a few hours altogether, 3 to 4 hours to print it. And then I could do another live stream, probably first thing in the morning, where I'll actually do all the test fits and do some adjustments on that. And then the random builds, I'm kind of thinking this will be a 3-parter and we'll be done. So, moving on. I hope everything is working well. So I've got this plate. Now what I kind of need to do is, what did I say the length of this was? The sticks are about 64 millimeters. So I'm going to offset up, where's my home? I'm going to offset a plane from here, let's say 60. So this will be the lid, right? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to just put that there. I'm going to project this down just so I have my center. Now I'm still on my base here because I'm not really doing anything new. I'm actually just kind of using this to figure out how to make the holes in the base. So I've got that there, and now I'm just going to hide this for a minute. And then I'm going to make a center rectangle. Now those dimensions that I wrote down there, what were they? They were 30 by 35. Okay, now you'll notice I kept those as a construction line. They're X like that, or sorry, the dotted line like that, because I don't really want them ever interfering with anything when I extrude it. I just want them there as reference lines so that I can draw circles around them and whatnot. Now let's bring this body back and kind of see what's going on. Why do I have the feeling I've done something wrong? I did not offset this the right size, did I? Yeah. I think I'm using a different scale. Maybe. Have I done a new install? Why am I always calculating these off by 10? Anyways, so now that I've got that down there, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to create a circle on this sketch, on this line, and it is going to be, so on my stick diameter, it's 12.7. On my printer, I have a Rostock Max version 2 printer, and what I've learned is that I always want to put a 0.4 millimeter tolerance around things that I print in order to make them have the perfect fit. So if I had 2 parts, and if one of them had a hole and one of them had and it had to go into the hole, if I made a tolerance of 0.4 millimeters, so if this was a 1 centimeter, this would be 1.0 or 1.4 centimeter, I'd end up with a perfect fit. I think you know what I'm talking about. If not, go ahead and ask a question in the chat. Not that anybody's actually watching. Anyways, so what I need to do here is I'm actually going to add just a little bit more because I don't want to have a perfect fit. I actually want a little bit of slop. I'm going to be using glue and things like that. And if I just have a perfect fit, there's just way too much work. So I'm going to put like a 0.6 millimeter tolerance into this. So these are, I wrote my sticks diameter as 12.7, but adding 0.6, I'm actually going to make the circles 13.3. That was a lot of talking just to get there, wasn't it? Okay, so 13.3. And then I'm going to actually move this to be tangent. There it is. To this line right here. See how I moved it down there? And then I'm going to do this. And oh, right, that's what I did wrong. I didn't want it on that line. You'll see why in a minute. 13.3. Now, I'll make it tangent here and tangent here. And it's not going to be directly on that line because this line is not a square. Now I want to do the same over here. I'm going to put a tangent here and here. So that's going to put it right into the corner of my lid. Let me just get it and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I got my lid and I want the stick to be right inside there. Now the way I've drawn that is totally vertical, but that's fine because I'm going to do a little bit of projecting in there, and what you'll end up seeing is that it doesn't matter. So that's kind of what's going on. Is I've got my lid now. That's what the outside square represents. That square that you see in Fusion 360 represents this square right here. And that circle that we made, this bit right here, represents the actual tripod head that's going to be built. So if I got my lid, the sticks, that circle is going to be this bit right up here that all three legs are coming out of. That's what I'm working on. Okay. And you know what? Should be easy. Uh-oh. Sorry, did I just whack you? My bad. Sorry. Okay. So I've got that. I've got one circle there. I've got one circle there. Now I need to put one circle right in the middle. And this one's going to be neat because I'm going to put it, what do I need? 13.3. I need to make this circle tangent to here. But the next bit is I actually want to make it horizontal. Where's horizontal? I did when I was over here before. You know what, I really do. The new Fusion 360 bugs me sometimes. This stuff used to be right here on the right. You could just, and now it's all way up there in the menu. It bugs me, and I have to go hunting for things now. What I want is horizontal and vertical because I'm going to go click on that, and then we go click on that, and you'll see the circle just went boom right to the center, and now it's perfectly lined up. Now here's what's going to happen. Here's something that's going to be really neat. Okay. So I'm going to come back up to here. I'm finished with that sketch. Hang on. Yeah. You notice those are not construction lines. These are actual circles because I'm going to use these in a minute. Now, this is not deep enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this bigger or deeper. 6, hang on, let's see here. let's see. I keep. Oh, that's why. That's why. Sorry about that. The camera cable, and I just threw the lid on the camera cable, knocked it right out. So I need to make that lid thicker, and that's only for now. We'll play with the depth of it. But in order to make sure that I have all of the strength that I'm going to need, I'm going to want to make those. Yeah, this will be neat. Okay, so let's just make that initial bit. Yeah, let's go 3 centimeters thick. 3 centimeters thick for this. What did I do with it? Yeah, I only did it 6. There we go. Now, where's the bottom of this thing? Okay. Right there. I'm going to put another sketch on the bottom of this facing the sketch that we've done way at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to turn that here. Create a sketch. Whoops, that was not the right place to put it. There. So I've got a sketch on here. I'm going to put the same 13.3 millimeter hole somewhere on here, but first I'm actually going to put a couple of construction lines on here from the center out here and yeah, no, that's just one. Let's put a line on here. 13.3. Oops, that was not right, because I do not want that one to be a construction line. I actually want it to be a real line. I had you muted. I am so sorry. Wow, I had you muted through that whole thing. That was bad. Anyways, what I wanted to do, so I want to cut these holes at that exact angle. And what I was going to do, solids. There it is. Well, I was going to do the loft, but that didn't actually do what I wanted it to do. Whoops, that was the wrong one. Do not click on that. Stop. There. I'm actually just going to use that to create a new body at first. And then I want to do, I'm just curious if this is going to work. Yep, good. Well, that didn't work either. All right. So I need to cut that hole. How should I cut that hole? Anybody know? I have to cut it on that angle. Thought I was just going to do that and extend it in with a cut, but it didn't work. So what do? How do I get that hole in there at that angle? I wonder. Oh, it doesn't give me any type of an angle in there. That's too bad. I was hoping that I could measure the angle of that, but it's not going to let me do that. Warning, the stream's current bit rate is lower. Something bad has happened to my stream. Sorry, I'm getting a really weird warning up here. Output 9500. Let's see if that works. Okay, so what was I trying to do? I was trying to cut that thing. Oh, that's right. It wasn't loft. I think it was project to surface I was thinking of maybe. Let's try that. Let's project to surface. Ah, nope. Okay, I don't know how to cut those holes in there for this. See, that's one of the reasons why I like to just sort of do these random builds, because I get to sit there for a while and just figure out these problems about how do I get a hole at a specific angle. Well, okay. Yeah. let's see. What I'm really doing right now is I'm actually just setting up to see if there's any chat. Okay, good. All right. How do I cut these holes at that specific angle? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Not really sure what to do. I'm really confused about this. I really don't. I thought this was actually going to be a lot easier. Well, that's why we build, is to learn projecting to surface. Sorry. Oh, you can tell it's been a while since I've actually had to do a project. What the heck? Why can't I remember how to do that? Okay, so that's my first challenge, is getting those holes cut into this at that exact angle. You know what, I wanted to do that. Yeah, no, that's right. How do I get those holes going in there at that right angle? I'm just going to try something and just see what happens. How far was that? I think it was 60, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's why I put the holes. One thing is I put the holes in the right spot. Oh, okay. Well, let's go put them back in the right place. Okay, so the trick was to make sure that they were actually facing in the right direction. So I want to put that there and going down. Thank you very much. And now I need a hole, 13.3, and I want to put it about 23. Yeah. Why are you just sitting there, you weird little thing? Okay, well, I don't know what you are, but sure. Now I'm going to put these in a circular pattern around that. Thank you. Good enough. Okay, good. That's what I want. Let's see. Now they're in the right spot. So that's fixing one little problem. I'm going to try that again. Okay. So I have my stick. Okay, fine. Oops. I did not want it to do that. I want a new body with that because what I want to try and do. Yeah, see if I just put a sketch. Oops. And then extrude that. It's just going to go straight up. Yeah. Okay, well, that's my stick. And we'll do that one more time. Okay, so there's my 3 sticks. Make sure that's a new body. Now, what I got to do is I got to get those to cut into the main body. Why can't I figure out how to do that? Okay. Wonder, will that work? Huh. If I put a plane, if I'm there, and now I'm going to put a sketch on that plane. Yeah. I'm going to project that point onto there and that point onto there. And then I'm going to connect them with a line. I'm also going to want to make a line from here to there and up. Okay. That's interesting. That is interesting. Now let's, you know what, let's take this line and make it just a bit longer. Let's make it let's make it 15. Really? That should be 60, right? I'm just wondering how deep, okay, how thick is this thing? It's 30, yeah, 20, 25. 25 is the winner. All right. Now what I wanted to do, I can't remember, 11.3. How did I do that before? I told you, I am an amateur at this. Well, coming up to an hour, so. Because then I could make a construction plane on that. No, that wasn't right. Yeah, that was not the right one. Nope. Which one was it? Oh, there we go. Dumbass. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Now I want to put my hole on there. Okay. Okay, so now I've got my 13.3 hole on there. Now, good. And that's at the right angle. Yes. Okay, now. Good. Now, watch what I can do with this. Yoink. See? That's all I needed to do. There we go. So, up to there is all the way through. So 128, I want to give myself like 5 or 6. So we'll do that. Good. I'm going to go hide that. Now, you're wondering, well, what are you going to do now? Okay, Craft, you get the other angles. Oh, well, hopefully. No, that was not the right one. Go away, yes. Circular pattern. Thank you. I'm going to take that face and I'm going to stick it 3 times around that. And we're done. And you thought I didn't know what I was doing. I just couldn't remember how to cut that first hole. I was so doing it wrong. It has been a while. Remember, I am doing this new. This is the first live stream. Welcome to my live stream, everybody. I am Kitecraft. So you got to feel good about the little wins. So, anyways, I'm just looking at my stream behind me, and it looks like I'm just catching up to. There's a bit of a lag. Anyways, so continuing on, I've got that. Anyways, welcome to a random build. This is me building a tripod for my tablet. Right now, I'm just working on the base of things, and I just cut the holes that go in for what's going to be these wooden uprights, these wooden dowels going in there, which is pretty cool. It just took me forever to figure out how to cut the hole out of the angle. It was awesome. Anyway, so that's that. That's going in. I'm going to fill it this corner. Too far. Too far. Let's back that off a bit. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. What I need now is I want to put this in there. I gotta have another one of these in there somehow. So if the tripod is set up this way, I want to have another stick coming straight off the side. Yep, that's what I want. See, nothing fancy, nothing complicated. Okay, so you know what? You know what? I'm just going to make these. And I'm going to make these, where to go? I think, nope. I think I have it in, well, let's just leave it in silver for now. I just wanted to separate the dowels from the rest of what's going on. Okay, I am going to find out where this is, and this next bit is going to be really easy. Okay, I want it coming off like that. So on this plane right here, I'm going to create another offset plane. Hang on, what was the size of this thing? It was in fact 70 millimeters. So I'm going to offset a plane 35. Nah, 40. I'm going to put a sketch on there. I'm going to project that. I'm going to make it all go away. I am going to draw a vertical line from the center point. Hang on. Let's see if I can do that again. See how that you can do that? You gotta love it. That's center point of line, the center point of line. Now I'm going to put another circle in here. So what I just did, I should kind of tell you what I did instead of just flying along. I just offset a plane about 40 millimeters off of center. That gives me this plane to work on that's just on the edge of my tripod. And it's right on the edge of where these two legs are the flat are on a plane. The reason is that's going to give me the closest to that edge. If I go with the other one or whatever, it's all further. This is going to give me the closest edge. So now I'm going to put a hole. I want to put a hole right through the side of that disc, because like I said, I want to have this thing just sticking right out the very side, and I want it flat. I'm not going to mess around with this. It's just going to come off flat. So I need to put a hole 13.3 millimeters straight into the side of my puck, right in the middle. So I took a plane and I just offset it as far as I needed to get it offside of the puck. but it's directly on the same plane as those two legs. Now, I just projected the puck onto that plane so I know exactly where it is I'm dealing with. I drew a vertical line that gives me the very center line of the puck, and now I'm going to draw a circle on that line, right in the middle. You notice how it gives me that triangle, so that's the very center of it. I'm going to draw a 13.3 millimeter circle, and boom. I'm finished with, whoops, you know what, let's do that little trick. I'm going to press X, and then I'm going to touch this line and press X. That makes it turn into a construction line. And now when I click on here, I can click on the whole thing instead of just half of it. And I am going to extrude this bad boy into there. How far? 41. Now I'm going to do 41 for now because I make those go away. Click on that, click in here. Oh yeah, I could even make it go further, but 43 is pretty good. There, 44. Now if I click in there and I control click on there, I can kind of see what's going on. But you know what? Perhaps that's not good enough. Sorry, I'm just stepping on my cable here. If we go up on my menu, if you go to the surface, inspect, down here you got section analysis. If you click on that, and then click on a plane. I'm going to click on this plane. That was the wrong plane. There. Watch this. So you can actually now kind of get an easy look at what exactly is going inside in your model. So if I want to see just where those two holes might interfere with each other, they're not going to. Lots of room. So using the section analysis off of the inspect menu on surface, inspect, section analysis, go ahead, pick a grid, or you can actually just pick any surface, and then you can cut away on that surface, and you can get a really good look at what's going inside your model and how any of these holes are going to interfere with each other. In that case, I'm really good. So there's my puck. I'm going to fillet this. And you know what? That's good enough. I wonder how long that's going to take to print. Probably a great deal. But if you'll excuse me just for one moment. I'm really sorry about that, but I actually had to get a drink. Okay, so we've got this puck with a big hole in it and 3 holes in the bottom. This is, well, I'll be honest with you, it's a lot to 3D print. It's just a big solid puck. What can we do to make it lighter? Pardon me. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to put a big hole through the middle of it. Let's go with about well, let's go with about 20. Sure. I'm going to push this hole in a little bit more, just so it kind of bites into this a bit. The reason is I want to make sure that it goes all the way through. Maybe a bit more. Good. That's not bad, but I could go a bit more, I think. Yeah, I'm going to cut that in just a bit more. The reason is I want a place to seat that dowel when I push it all the way in. So I'm going to make that just a bit deeper. Let's go all the way to 50. Yeah, perfect. Now that shouldn't cut into that. Yeah, good, 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 good. I like that. Okay, so that's going to lighten that up a bit. Not near enough. Let's put a few more holes in here. You know what? We could definitely put more holes in there. But you know what? Let's try something else. Let's shell this and see what happens if we shell this. Actually, before you do anything, I'm going to save this. Now, Fusion 360 is usually pretty stable, so I usually don't have to worry about that, but I'm going to save it before I do this next step. This is just a big chunk of plastic, right? It's just a big waste, but it's going to be strong enough. I'm going to make that hole a bit deeper. Where does it just start to cut in? Okay, 53 it starts to cut in. What about 52 and a half? 52. Yeah, okay, so 52 is the deepest I can go. Let's go to 51. That's a whole, well, 51.9. That's 0.9. So my layer thickness or widths, my bead widths on my 3D printer, I use 0.3 millimeter layer widths at 0.2 millimeter layer height. So 0.3 millimeter, that gives me 0.9 millimeter wall widths if I use 3 layers, which is what I print with. So by moving this to 51.1, that was the breaking point was at 52. That's 0.9 millimeters. That's exactly 3 perimeters. It'll be perfect. Plus, now if I look inside there, when I push the dowel in, it'll get seated inside that hole, and that's all I need. I just made the hole, the vertical hole, just to make it a bit lighter. Any comments going on? No comments. Anyways, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to shell this, just to try and make it even lighter and get rid of a lot of more plastic. So I'm going to select this body and I'm going to shell it with about, whoa, there. Click on outside. There. So I'm going to go with about 2. Well, let's start with 4 and just see. Hang on, why are you not liking 4? Oh, why? Is there something wrong with the way I'm doing this? Yes. Let's try that. See if that works. Alright, well, shelling isn't going to work on this particular model, apparently. 5. That ain't gonna work. So this thing is about, how big is it? Anybody know? What are its final dimensions? So it's about 7 centimeters. So it's a disc about that big. 7 centimeters by 3 centimeters thick. So it's a disc about that big and about that thick. And it's got a lot of holes in it. Well, you know what? I'm going to go throw that up on the slicer and just see what the slicer says. If I go to tools, I go to, whoops, that was not the right one. If I go to tools, I go to make, click on that. Hang on. I'm just making a folder to put this in. Okay. Now, I'm not sure how well this is going to work, so I'm going to switch this over to here. So hopefully you can still hear me all right. Now, I just need to run that through my slicer, and unfortunately I don't have the slicer on that computer. That was a dumb thing of me to do. What I do need to do is I'm just going to pop over to here. Oops, tripod. So, this computer, this laptop over here is what I use to drive my 3D printer. It also has my Slicer software on there. I use Slicer, the one that's called Slicer with the 3 in it. And so I'm just going to run it through my standard print settings. And just see what that actually says. I'm not always the best of judge things like this, so sometimes I just have to test it in the print and the slicer and find out. So Slicer's going to come back and tell me, so that puck is a 4.5 hour print. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if you could hear me while I was doing that. So I just ran that through my slicer, and it says it's going to be a 4.5 hour print, and I'm kind of okay with that. I go through a lot of test filament, and you know what? A 4.5 hour print for this isn't really a lot of filament. It really isn't. Okay, so what do we got here? Yeah, I'm good enough. This is one of the best things about being a home builder. If you just need something, kind of like what this is with this random build, I just have a goal. You know, I needed something to accomplish a particular goal. I needed something that I can put my tablet on and get video of it straight down. And I think this will work because I'm going to put some base caps on these so that I can actually put a weight on the bottom. So let's do that right now on here. I'm going to have to do something very similar to what we just did up there. I'm actually going to create a new component. I'm going to call this foot. I'm going to create a plane there. I'm going to create a sketch on that. I am going to project this right there, just because I need the center point of that. That's all. Now, I need to make a bit of a rectangle here. Watch this. I'm going to make a 2-point rectangle, and it's going to be, let's go with 30 by 60. Sure, why not? I need this to be horizontal. So if I go back up to my sketch and I go up here, if I hold my shift button, I can select the center of this, and I'm going to click on there. Now that's all aligned. Now I'm going to click on D, and I'm going to make it about, oh, let's say 8. Nope. 10. Sure, why not? 10. 14. How far is this? 39, huh? See, what I want is when this thing is, whoa, the heck? That was a weird spin. There's going to be a stick coming out that hole, right? With a lot of, there's going to be a stick coming out that hole. There's the puck. There's going to be a lot of weight out here. Obviously, that's going to want to tip over. I don't want it to tip over. So on that back foot, I'm going to put this little foot on the back upright. I'm going to put this little foot with a plate that sticks out a lot, and then I can actually just put a weight on that. Because it's going to be on the inside, because remember, it's all trying to fit within that lid. So I can't have it on the outside because it'll fall off the edge of the lid. So it's got to be on the inside. So that's what I'm building now. Now let's see what's kind of going on here. How big is this? Okay. So that's why I was looking at this distance here. That's 40. When this is up there, the tripod is there, that's only 40 millimeters. That's not really enough. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to make that. I'm going to make this. I forgot I was already editing it. Where did it go? There it is. I'm going to give myself another 40. I'm going to make this an even 100. And I'm going to change this width to about 45. Now you notice it expanded on both sides. That's because I did the horizontal vertical alignment on the center point of this along to the center point of my dot here. That gave me a nice perfect center point to work with. Now what you're going to see is that this is actually going to create a lot of wasted plastic. So I'm actually going to put some holes in here as soon as I do this. I'm going to extrude this to be about, say, 3 millimeters thick. It doesn't have to be thick. However, I do want that to be a little bit thicker. So I'm going to put another sketch on here. I want those to go away for a minute. I'm going to, I'm actually going to take this. This is a good time to use the offset on there. I'm going to give myself a 6mm offset. Hang on, am I doing this the right direction or am I facing this the wrong way? Oh no, I'm doing it right. Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to back that up a bit. I think I did something. I forgot a step. I certainly did. That's got to go with it for one. There. Now what I want to do is I want to come back to, where is it? That sketch right there. You see that sketch? This is the one I used before. I used this sketch here to cut that hole up top. I'm going to use it again. Okay. Okay, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to just pull it down and there. Now I've got a hole cut in there the right way. All right. So now I'm going to put another sketch on here, and I'm going to offset this. Oops, I forgot to project it. There. Now I'm going to offset it. Why aren't you doing? Okay. I want to offset that. How far? 6, I said. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to do this in an interesting way again. I'm going to pull this up with the middle. How far? How far do I want to go? Let's go, let's just go 10. Okay? Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to go cut that hole again with that, with this thing. Okay, I'm just going to, so I cut it the once, then I made my little extrusion going up, and then I cut it again. And now I'm going to fillet that, say about there. I'm going to fillet this about there. Whoa, a little too much. Right about there. Going to fillet all of these corners. Too far. Back. Wow, why is that so nasty? That's just weird. Oh, that's why. I had the wrong, come on, F. Okay, thank you. See, that wasn't so hard. And we'll cut that in. Yeah, let's go about there. Okay, good. Now, the last thing I want to do, whoa, I'm going to make another sketch on there. I'm going to draw a line from there to there, and you notice that is a construction line. Slots. No. Yes. Okay. I can never remember how to do the slots. Oh, that's how. Did I do that right? Yeah, I did. Okay, so let's make that about let's offset that from here. Okay, I'm going to offset that about 10. I'm going to make this about 8. I'm going to make this about 20. I'm going to make this about 6. Whoa. Not 60. 6. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. So I just cut that. Now, I've got a slot, but I'm not done. I'm going to go ahead and do a rectangular pattern this time. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start clicking inside my slot. Then I'm going to pick this here. Where'd it go? Did they change this? Whoops. Directions. There. You just kind of have to find an angle or a line or an edge that kind of goes in the direction you want it to, and then you can just do that. But I want to do an extra one. There. There. So that'll just make that lighter and easier to print, but it gives me a way to have something to help hold it down. And that'll just be glued onto the base. Now obviously this one thing won't be coming apart or anything like that. It'll just be all glued together and good enough. So I am very happy with this. This is kind of, welcome to the happy hobbyer. Things don't have to be pretty. This is why I have my own 3D printers. I can just make whatever I want, use it whatever I need, and then if I'm done, I can just even throw it away. I use PLA. It's a very recyclable plastic, so I don't really feel all that guilty about throwing it out. But that's all I had to do, and boom. I now have my own unique little tripod that is going to work for whatever I want. I don't have to make more of these foot pads because I'm only using that as a counterbalance to keep the weight. The other ones I might just cut them a little bit to even them up, make them flat a bit, but who cares? It really doesn't matter. What I'm going to do after I've got this done and I have something that works, I'll come back and I'll figure out how to put a GoPro, 3D printed GoPro on the end of it somewhere. That'll slide along, maybe with a bit of a screw or something to lock it on. That way I can move it in and out, get its angle. But yeah, I think that'll work. So, wow. Pardon me for the drink. So there we go. That's really all it is. That's what it is to be a happy hobby, to be a printer, to have your own 3D printer, to have your own tools. You get an idea, and I like to call these, the random builds. You just get an idea, you suddenly need something. You need a component, you need a part, you want something to finish a project off, and it's like, okay, I'm going to spend, 1 to 2 hours and design whatever it is I'm going to need. And because I'm familiar with how my printer works, and you can build your own tolerances in. So I have great confidence that I can just print this and it's going to work and do exactly what I want it to do. And it's not a big loss. No, if it doesn't, because it's only a couple hours of print time and a few bucks. So let's see. Yeah, we're coming up on pretty close to 2 hours, which is the maximum amount of time I want to spend on a project like this, on this first step. So the next step is to actually take these over to the printer and print them out, and that'll take a couple hours. So I'll probably come back with part 2 of this stream. It is called random. That's because they're just going to happen whenever they happen. And I'll come back. I'll just come back and we'll do the final fitting. If there's any adjustments that have to be made, I'll come back and make them. But we'll do the final dry fitting of the components. And as long as everything's good, I'll go ahead and do the next bit, which is that the sliding. We'll figure out whatever I want to do with there on how I'm going to actually mount this underneath that vertical stick. And yeah, perfect. This will be a 3-part random build. It should be done no later than maybe even tomorrow afternoon. Perfect. Anyways, that's how they go. My very first live stream, it went all right, I guess. My camera kind of sucks. So go ahead and check out my Patreon, kitecraft.com, if you want to throw me a few bucks. My first purchase with what I want to do with Patreon is get a Visual Micro license so I can start writing some code using Visual Studio to write some code for my ESP32. It really is a lot easier to use Visual Micro than anything else, because you can use some really good Visual Studio tools and systems. But the way Visual Micro works is now they've changed they don't have their free version anymore. Instead, you have to buy a license. So that's the first 25 bucks. And then the next $100 is I'll buy a new camera. If it happens that I get enough money to pay my rent, I'll stick around. Otherwise, thanks for watching. This was random build number 1 for the tripod. We'll try this again tomorrow once I have everything printed, and we'll finish the tripod tomorrow. So, cheers, y'all. Bye now. How do I get out of here?